We're going to put a cap on this wall. We set these up here just to scribe them into place. We're going to put a piece in right here, and it's going to return back on this side. This is our cutout piece that we cut out of this stone here. So it should fit right in here. So we'll just cut it and notch it around this post and slide it in here so that it can have some place to hold it while it's kind of free hanging out there. Our piece isn't quite fitting, so take your marker and you can hold it right at the edge of your lumber and bring it down, and you can use it as a scribe. So you can scribe that right against there. Same with this side. Right here was good. Back here it was hitting, so I want to cut that off, so I just scribe it just along there, hold my marker against the framing. We got these things in place. They're just sitting there without any mortar. We'll cut this one in around this post. So this cap, we're gonna have to cut it, just notch the end of it out and only go halfway on this post. So we'll measure from here to center of post. So you get your center line, I've already got it right there. Get your center line of your post, and then if you're going to do a 1/2 inch joint, you go back 1/4 from your line, and then you go from, you hold your tape back of a 1/2 inch from your other stone, and then go to your 1/4 inch back mark, and that's your measurement for, that's where you'll cut the stone clear off. And then you'll keep your tape in the same spot, and right here you just go off of this and give yourself 1/8 of an inch. So my measurement is 8 7/8 from end of stone to my cut. That way I've got a nice 1/8 of an inch all the way across there to give this log room to expand, because it will expand different than the stone. If you cut them tight, it will break them off. Right here's your weak point, it'll just crack that and that piece will just fall off. So you want to give it enough room, silicone it instead of using mortar, because if it gets any kind of expansion, it'll push on your mortar. So that's a way to keep that from breaking off. On this end, we'll just go our 1.5 inch overhang, 1/4 inch back from center, and that's our mark. And then right here, we're at 5.5, that's 1/8 of an inch away from this. So we'll cut that, notch this piece, put them in there. So whenever you're doing stone like this, these stones are pretty expensive to just buy them. So once in a while in shipping, when they're shipping these things, then they'll break a corner of them off like this. It'll just have a ugly little chunk missing out of it. Every chance you get, take advantage of getting rid of a chipped one in a place like this where you're cutting off a little bit on the end where you're cutting it off. Then you try to eliminate or get rid of a stone that has a broken corner, and the end of your wall is the perfect place to get rid of that stuff. So every time you get a cut, every time you get a chance to eliminate a chipped one, then you got to take it, because they'll get chipped a lot easier than you'd think they would. So that's one way to try to save on your materials. Here's your cool measuring tape trick. So it is the year 2020. I'm going to hold my measuring tape on 2020. Okay, so if you were 28 years old, see, I'm holding my tape on 2020, so that'd be 120. So if you were born in 1996, you'd be 24 years old this year. If you were born in 1989, you'd be 31 years old. And if you were 36 years old, you would have been born in 1984. If you were born in 1966, you'd be 54 years old this year. It's kind of a cool measuring tape trick to try out. So the way that you get this notch here, where your stone's going to sit right here, it's going to come across this end, and it's going to notch here. The way you get this cut is you measure from center. I got 9. My post is 9 inches, so I'm going to go 4.5 to center. My center mark, and then this stone, the way you decide where to position your stone, because sometimes these posts ain't necessarily perfectly centered in your wall. So what you do, this one actually is pretty close, but a lot of times it's not. So you put your stones right here where you want them, get your line established right here, and then just measure from that. So you'd come off here to the edge of where you want your stone to sit, and it needs to line up with all your other stones, or else you can have this thing twisted a little bit weird and your stone will go crooked. So just get a nice line from here. In this situation, this post's close enough. It's probably within 1/8 of an inch. I mean, stone's pretty rough, so I have a little leeway there, but that's how you establish it. You measure from here to here, split the difference, get your mark, and then you can either center it on your stone that you're going to cut, or make one side barely bigger than the other side. But this measurement would stay the same. So if it's exactly 9 1/8, I'm going to cut it at 9 1/4, so that I have 1/8 of an inch on each side for that expansion. That's extremely critical, because the log will heat up faster than the stone, so the log will expand faster than the stone. And it's the other way around too. It'll cool off faster than the stone will, so it'll shrink faster than the stone. So you're going to want to make sure you leave a gap on those. They'll crack them, it'll crack. These things all cut in. They're turning out pretty nice. Got a nice consistent gap all the way around there. Turning out pretty good. So we're ready to mortar these into place now. That one looks good. Pretty nice. We didn't film this whole project. It's in the middle of the winter and there's 4 feet of snow everywhere. Did a bunch of columns. Those caps got broke. Had to order some more. Just about done. The stone is granite and these seals are limestone.